Pitching from behind. Pitching from behind in the count is an advanced strategy. It's not for everyone. It's definitely not for the beginner or the faint of heart. But if you want to work hard and master the location of your pitches, this is a technique that you can use to get quality batters out. So, coming up, pitching from behind in the count. Pitching from behind in the count. Now, if you look it up on YouTube, there really isn't much on there about this subject. You'll see a lot of videos where a pitcher throws a pitch behind the back of a batter. You know, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about intentionally getting yourself behind or allowing yourself to get behind in the count. And the reason you do that is to maneuver a good hitter into a defensive posture at the plate. Now, if you're an inexperienced pitcher or a new pitcher, this is not for you. This is for information only. You know, if you stay with your game, if you keep developing your game, one day you'll get to the point where you can actually use this strategy. But for now, you know, you just throw strikes, feel your position. But for you guys that can throw, at least here's three things that you need to have. First of all, you must have one pitch that you can throw for a strike with confidence every time. 9 out of 10 times. That's the first thing you must have. If you don't have that, forget it. Number 2, you need a quality out pitch. It can be a slider, screwball, knuckleball, whatever kind of pitch you have that you've thought about that you're going to use to get this batter at the plate out. You need one of those, all right? And number 3, you need a boatload of confidence. Confidence comes from experience, and it also comes from preparation, practice, your workouts. That's where it comes from. So with those 3 things, you can confidently pitch from behind. Okay, now why would you intentionally pitch from behind? Well, we've all run into that hitter that he will not swing the bat unless he gets a nice fat pitch. So what do? You go up there and you know he's waiting for a fat pitch. So what do? Right away you throw a pitch on the edge, on the corner, and you miss, all right? You start nibbling. It doesn't work. Now, this is where we have an inclination to not fall behind in the count and throw a nice fat strike. You don't want to do that. You don't throw a fat pitch when you have one ball, all right? Now, this is pitching from behind, okay? On the second pitch, what you want to do is throw another marginal borderline pitch, okay? If you miss, you miss, because you're already thinking, okay, I've got one ball, and I'm not going to give him a fat pitch here because what's he going to do? He's going to wail on it, right? So what you want to do is throw that second one on the edge. If you miss, you miss. Okay, now on the third pitch, that's when you throw your strike. Right there, because what's he doing? He's sitting there in a mindset. He says, okay, 2 balls, I'll take one. Most batters will take one. There's a couple of exceptions to this, and I'll go over that in just a minute. But when you have that first ball, you do not throw a fat pitch on the second pitch. Never. Now, here's the exception to that situation. When you come to the third pitch and you're down 2 balls, no strikes, if you've worked on your game and you can throw a pitch on the inside or outside for a strike with high confidence, then you don't necessarily want to groove a pitch, okay? If you can throw it on the inside or outside, depending on how your defense is set up, how you're playing this particular hitter, you want to throw that strike, but either on the inside or outside half of the plate. Now, if you're not so confident, go ahead and groove it. He's probably going to take it anyway. The only time he's not going to take that pitch usually is if there are base runners on and he has a weak hitter behind him, okay? And you should know that. You should be aware of the game situation. So, because he doesn't want to let the guy behind him that's like 0 for 10 try to move the runners and you put him on, all right? So, in a situation like that, then on that third pitch, you want to throw a strike, but it's almost like, okay, I can get the guy behind him out, so maybe I don't throw him a fat pitch. Maybe I put him on and go after the next guy. Hey, I've done that before. You know, I've even walked batters home with bases loaded. I walked a batter in because I'm not going to let the guy at the plate beat me and I'm going after the guy behind him. Now, again, that's controversial, and everyone, every pitcher has to make that decision, and that goes back to confidence. Confidence for more than just throwing the pitch. You have to have confidence that you can go back in the dugout and face your team. And if you hear any stuff like, oh man, you walk guys and they scored 3 on us in this, hey, you play your position, I'll play my position. Okay, that's the kind of confidence I'm talking about. And you don't earn that by being cocky. You don't earn that by saying, oh, I'm a great pitcher. You earn that because you have a track record of winning games, of getting out of situations. It doesn't always work in your favor. Sometimes it goes sideways. I mean, hey, slow pitch softball, it's slanted, it's tilted very heavily to the hitter. So it doesn't always work out. But you have to have confidence in certain situations to pitch from behind, to put that batter in a situation where he has to swing the bat. Then you throw that out pitch and you get him out. Otherwise, if you're nibbling in the beginning, you get 1 ball and then you give up to him and you throw that fat pitch right over, he's going to hit you every time. So that's how you deal with certain hitters that just make you nibble and then force you to throw that fat pitch. Hey, learn how to throw a good out pitch, and on your number 1 pitch that you can throw for a strike, go out there and work that pitch until you can throw it 9 out of 10 times every time. And then once you have 2 balls, when you throw that strike up there, he's taken. 9 times out of 10, he's taken. Again, except for the case when he doesn't want to let the hitter behind him hit. He wants to take control and drive those runners in. And in that case, just depending on the game, you might throw him a 3rd marginal pitch. If you miss, you put him on, you go after the next guy. And like I said before, I would not recommend a steady diet of this. And you don't do it for every batter. It's just here and there. This is when you want to think about it. There's no runners on, and you throw ball 1. That's when it comes. That's when it comes into play. That's when you consider it. Am I going to try to get him out with a marginal pitch on 2, or am I going to give up and just throw him a fat pitch? In that case, you want to consider pitching from behind. That's up to you. That's your call. It just depends how have you performed against him in the past. Is there a certain pitch that you can throw this guy and he gets himself out? Well, if there is, then you still need to get him in a swinging posture, in a protective posture at the plate. The way to do that, if you throw ball 1, throw marginal ball 2. If you miss, no problem. Just be sure that you have that solid out pitch that you can get that guy out with. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. That's pitching from behind. Hey, leave your comments. If you disagree, that's great. Leave your comments. If you read the comments on this channel, you're going to learn a lot. There's a lot of sharp guys that have a lot of experience and good ideas that comment on these videos. So I would read those definitely. And if you have any questions, leave those. I always answer your questions. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye.